Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're stepping into something that touches all of us at some point in life. Something that can either paralyze us or push us towards something greater. The fear of failure. It can be sneaky, subtle, and sometimes loud, stopping us from starting that dream project, taking a risk, or even believing in our own potential. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't have to run your life. You can take the lead. And in this video, we're going to walk through the heart of this fear, understand where it really comes from, and more importantly, how to rise above it. So let's start with something we often overlook. Where does this fear actually begin? It's not just a surface-level reaction. It often starts deep within us, planted by old experiences, past judgments, and moments we'd rather forget. Maybe it began in childhood, when making mistakes brought punishment instead of guidance. Or maybe it's from being surrounded by a culture that worships perfection and hides failure like a secret shame. When we're raised to believe that our worth is tied to our success, the idea of falling short becomes terrifying because it feels personal, not just a missed opportunity, but a reflection of who we are. That's how the fear tightens its grip. It's not just emotional, it's physical too. Fear activates our nervous system. That fight or flight response, it kicks in. Your heart races, your hands sweat, your thoughts spiral, and all of a sudden, even small risks start to feel like life or death decisions. That kind of fear can keep us frozen, trapped in routines that feel safe but lead nowhere. Over time, it begins to whisper doubts. What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't recover? These aren't just thoughts. They become the walls of the box we live in. But what if those walls aren't real? What if fear isn't meant to be our master, but a messenger? Here's something powerful to consider. Failure doesn't have to be the enemy. In fact, it's often the teacher. What if the real mistake isn't falling, but refusing to get back up? Think about it. Some of the most successful people in the world, people who changed history, got there by stumbling, learning, and stumbling again. But instead of shrinking in shame, they looked failure in the face and said, "You're not the end of me. You're part of my path." Let's take a moment to flip the script. Instead of seeing failure as something to be feared, see it as feedback. Each setback gives you information, where to adjust, where to grow, where to try again with more wisdom. It's like refining a recipe. You don't toss the whole dish because the first attempt didn't taste right. You tweak, you learn, and then you try again. But let's be real, it's not always easy. To face fear, you need tools, practical ones. And it begins by acknowledging the fear without judgment. Write it down, look at it, give it a name. That alone makes it less intimidating. Then take the next step. Shift your thoughts. When your mind says, "I'm not ready," respond with, "I'm learning. I'm growing. I don't need to be perfect to begin." Repetition matters. You have to train your brain to believe in your ability to adapt. Set small goals that move you forward. Don't aim for the mountaintop in one leap. Take one step, then another. Each success, no matter how small, adds fuel to your confidence. And when fear creeps in, lean on your support system. Talk to someone who believes in you. Their perspective can ground you when yours feels shaky. Another thing that makes a world of difference: calm. You can't wrestle fear when you're mentally overwhelmed. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, and journaling help center your thoughts. It clears the fog and brings clarity. And when clarity comes, confidence follows. Visualization is also powerful. Imagine success, not perfection, but progress. Picture yourself handling challenges with strength and composure. This kind of mental rehearsal trains your nervous system to feel safer in uncertainty. It builds emotional muscle. And remember this: failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Confidence isn't about knowing you'll never fail. It's about knowing you can handle it if you do. It's that inner voice that says, "Whatever happens, I'll figure it out." And that kind of confidence isn't born overnight. It's built bit by bit. Set a small goal. Keep your word to yourself. Speak kindly to yourself, especially when you fall short. It's not about being loud or bold. It's about trust. Trusting yourself to show up, try again, and keep going. That's where a growth mindset comes in. It's the belief that you can develop and improve through effort. When you believe you're a work in progress, not a finished product, failure becomes just part of the curriculum. You stop seeing mistakes as flaws and start seeing them as lessons. You don't avoid the hard stuff. You embrace it because you know that's where the growth lives. If you ever doubt this, just look at those who came before you. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. He failed hundreds of times, but he didn't call them failures. He called them discoveries. J.K. Rowling was turned away by publisher after publisher, but she kept going, believing in her story when no one else did. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was fired from her first television job. Michael Jordan didn't even make his high school varsity team. Each of them faced rejection, setbacks, and doubt, but they didn't let it stop them. They used it. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not luck. It's not perfection. It's the willingness to get back up again and again. So how do you apply this to your own life? Start by setting goals that are rooted in reality, not fantasy. Be specific. Know what you're aiming for and break it down into pieces. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, ask, what small action can I take today that moves me closer? And make sure those goals reflect what truly matters to you. Not what others expect, but what makes you feel alive. Give yourself time. Real growth takes patience. Set timelines that allow for bumps and setbacks. And when those bumps come, adjust, not abandon. You're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to change course. Life isn't a straight line. It's a dance. One thing you have to watch for is perfectionism. It wears a clever disguise, sometimes pretending to be ambition or high standards. But underneath, it's fear in a tuxedo. The need to get everything right often comes from the fear of being judged or rejected. But perfection is an illusion. In chasing it, exhausting. It kills creativity and keeps you frozen. Let go of the need to be flawless. Focus on progress. Focus on learning. Done is better than perfect. An imperfect action will always beat perfect hesitation. Give yourself permission to be human, to mess up, to try again. Speak to yourself with compassion. Would you berate a friend for trying and failing? Of course not. Then why do it to yourself? What really helps is creating an environment that supports your courage. Surround yourself with people who cheer for your effort, not just your results. People who see your growth, not just your wins. The right community makes fear easier to face. They remind you that you're not alone, that falling down isn't shameful. It's part of the process. But it's not just about the people around you. Create an inner space that nurtures bravery too. Give yourself room to reflect, to process, to breathe. Use tools that help you stay grounded. Quotes, music, rituals that bring you back to your why. Protect your peace, because a calm heart faces fear better than a restless one. At the end of the day, fear will always whisper, but you get to choose whether to listen. Let your dreams be louder. Let your courage be stronger. Fear might always be a passenger, but it doesn't get to drive. Thanks for being here and sharing this moment. If this resonated with you, if something in it sparked a shift or gave you hope, hold on to that. You're capable of more than you know. And every time you face fear and take a step forward, you're rewriting the story. You're moving toward a version of yourself who trusts more, dares more, and lives more fully. So go ahead. Start the thing. Take the risk. Embrace the lesson. The future belongs to those brave enough to fail forward. We'll see you in the next one. Keep going, keep growing, and most of all, keep believing in yourself.